Welcome back to The Big Conversation. Today's episode is titled Me to Mom, Part 2, Navigating Career, Calling and Change. It's one thing to talk about nappies and nap schedules, but what about networks, negotiations, and nurturing your ambition after baby? For many women, motherhood isn't just a lifestyle change. It's a full-blown career earthquake. With us today is a woman who understands this intersection well. Between managing businesses, leading teams, and raising a family. Please welcome Oluwakemi Irioyi, the Group Executive Director of KEA, Kia Group. She's a highly respected culinary consultant and corporate hospitality leader with vast experience across management, catering, media, and training. Her company, Kia Corporate Hospitality Services, has worked with leading brands such as UAC Foods, Airtel Nigeria, Mnet, International Breweries, the Oyo State Government, and even the Royal Palace of the Oni of Ife. She's here to help us unpack the sacrifices, the pivots, and the power plays that come with being a career-driven woman and a devoted mother. Hello, gorgeous Kemi. So good to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And of course, the ladies, I'm excited. Jumoke was here yesterday when we had a Power Pack Part 1 of this topic where we're talking about the changes that come with motherhood. And I think the first question I asked is, what was the nobody told me moment that you had, in motherhood?
Okay, for me, I think it was the sleepless night. I'm from a family of 5. The second born, first girl.
Yes.
But somehow, I think by the time I grew up, I didn't have aunties or uncles who were giving birth.
Right.
So I'd forgotten what it's like raising, a newborn. And my son, for like the first 3 months, wouldn't sleep at night. He sleeps during the day, even till now.
Wow,
if you leave him, he will be up till like 12 a.m.
Wow.
So it was always a struggle, and I don't sleep during the day. You know that lie they tell moms that rest when
baby is sleeping.
Baby is sleeping. I couldn't do that. So I was running round the clock with very little sleep. So I remember I gave birth in November, and I remember that I laughed for the first time in January.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the fact that you remember, you know these things.
Yes.
Oh
so I'm not traumatized,
yes.
right? But it was very unexpected for me.
It was jarring, yes.
And I was wondering, they should have given
Nobody
me
told
the memo.
Nobody told. How about you, Barrister Toji? Did you have a nobody told me about?
I won't say that, because growing up, I lived like communal setup. When you have aunties and everywhere, then they were having children, so you are in charge. Take this baby, back the baby. So I think that kind of has prepared me in a way. But however, my first child was a very peaceful child until I had the second one that was different. And then, because I was like fully stay-at-home mom, my husband didn't allow me to like let's take care of these kids first. So I didn't really get that, and my mother-in-law too was around to assist.
Fantastic.
But we had backed babies, even though you'll be cursing the person that she's just sleeping there, this baby.
Exactly.
You can't bring that child back until she's awake. You now bring the baby back,
right,
So I think that kind of prepared
you.
Prepared
you. And Jumoke, yesterday you talked to us about how, it wasn't like the baby kind of changed your career, because, you really just wanted to be a mom. Yeah. And even though your husband had like this idea of, you being this career lawyer per se, so are you saying that there was, with your career, for example, what are the areas that you would say the changes kind of happened?
Okay, the first limitation was I couldn't get a job pregnant. I couldn't get a job with a baby.
Oh, you said that.
Yes, I mentioned it yesterday. So if the baby's too young, they don't want you, and you were feeling for the employer.
Yes, yes.
If the baby's too young, they don't want you. If you're pregnant, they don't want you. So when my baby was about 10 months, I actually strategically sat down. I had done so much training, so I selected the banks that had legal departments in Ibadan.
Right.
And then I applied to Skybank, then it's no longer functional, and I met with the company secretary who told me that being in a regional office was a dead end. Wow. You are never going to become company secretary if you're in a regional office. You are never going to become head of department in a regional office. Why do you want to be in a regional office? And then she brings out all those files and explains that, see, it's a dead end. You cannot even proceed beyond a certain grade level if you are not in the head office. And that you will not be equipped to be in the head office if you start from the regional office. So she put me in the head office straight. That immediately created a problem. My husband, my parents, my life was in Ibadan, and I was recruited into Lagos, even though I applied to that bank because they had offices in Ibadan. I struggled for about a year, but the problem started when I got pregnant with the second child. And that second child thing, that child had, you know, I would suddenly be walking and then my legs would stop walking.
Wow.
And they would need to wheel me from wherever I'm standing.
Okay.
Yes, there were times when I went to sleep and woke up with a swollen face. They'll test everything and I'm fine. You know, so it was very problematic. And my doctor, my gynae, actually wrote to the bank and told them that there's nothing wrong with her. She's sick because she's in Lagos.
Wow. Wow.
So they had to send me back to the regional office. Now the HOD tore down the department. She insisted I wasn't going to go. But because health,
Yes.
HR insisted and they moved me to Ibadan. But that meant I'd changed division.
Yeah.
I already knew I would not go beyond a certain level because I was in a regional office.
Yes.
So fast forward 8 years down the line, they closed the regional office.
Wow.
And moved everybody to Lagos. And it was now a matter of, they've explained to you that this is where your career options are. Why not just stay here? You know, and so I had to struggle. I couldn't do more than 3 months. I came back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had to resign and leave the job. And of course, the story is a bit more technical. I resigned because somebody offered me matching pay in Ibadan.
Yes, girl.
To manage a business, which is what I
Yes.
do right now.
Wow.
Now, so I resigned, and the day I resigned, for some strange reason, the person withdrew the offer.
What in the world? Okay.
Yes, so I ended up not having a job for approximately 3 years.
Wow.
Because same thing happened to my sister-in-law. She was working in a multinational oil company. She was transferred to head the legal department in the north.
What?
She had to resign. Now, when she resigned, she had the difficulty getting jobs. So she applied to the government. And then she sat with the Attorney General at the time, because she's a lawyer too. And the Attorney General told her that you're senior to me post-call. You have 4 masters.
Yes.
There's no how I'm going to put you in my department. You are bigger than me in every way.
Of course.
And so the minute you have pursued career to a certain level, there are some places that can't contain you.
Yes.
Yes. So
Absolutely.
that just changed the
Yes.
whole scenario.
Oh,
but
wow.
thankfully, 3 years.
You're not doing badly
back.
at all. Yes, absolutely. And I
back.
think that's one of the major things. Women always, and I think men don't have that problem oftentimes. They don't have to choose between their babies or their children and their career. But have you had that experience,
Yes, there's
Toji?
something I just remembered as you guys. You know, I'm very particular about my hair. I can spend anything to make my hair, you know. So then not now that you have weave-ons up and down, lotal body, infusion, all those things, I'll have them on my table. Like every week, I want to wash and set my, then my hair was not natural, you know. So when the baby came, my husband was like, your hair is rough now, you're not going to this house. I said, please leave me, Jare. You know, and now one day I looked at myself like,
What's going
me
on?
that normally I won't.
Now born, you
So-
born now.
It's not easy. Because that my second child, that baby could cry. But I now realized that I was doing exclusive. And her appetite was so huge. So when it was 6 months, me, I was saying I must do 1 year. So the baby, she would cling on to me like no other person. So I feel that what is this? Okay, one part of my mind is like this child really loves me. Another part, this thing is stressing me out.
Yes.
But now when I meet a woman, I say I'm doing exclusive and the baby is crying, I'll say, Madam, add food, put on the joint. Because I knew what I went through.
That's also something I learned, because I wanted to do this whole, and I talked about it yesterday, how breast is best, and I realized I will literally be in the sitting room for hours and she'll be at the breast. And once I move it,
It's no longer enough.
and my mom's like, give this child formula,
else,
give this child, this is not enough. And I know a lot of us moms judge ourselves a lot, whether it's okay, I can't breastfeed my child, or I'm not there. And you handle a lot of high profile events. You do a lot, Kemi. You know, do you ever feel guilt? I think that's one of the number one things that sort of hinders us, our calling and our career as well. Because just the guilt of you're at work. If people are not judging you, you are judging yourself.
Exactly.
So do you ever go through that moment?
Every single time. Every time. I just got into Ibadan this morning for this show. I've been away since Monday. I left the house 5 a.m. Monday morning because I had a 7 a.m. call time on set. And just like Jumoke said, the good part for me is I live in Ibadan, but I'm able to work in Lagos. But what that does for me is puts me on the road a lot. And I've refused to move to Lagos because, call it what it
You
is,
love it here.
the quality of life in Ibadan
It's
is better.
different.
It's not different, it's better.
Better. Okay.
Yes, for me, it's
Don't
better.
Yes.
let Lagosians say
We contest it. We contest it all the time.
don't let
But for
it.
me,
Yeah.
the value of life
For
is
raising
better. The
kids.
air
Lagos.
is better.
Yes.
The air is better. The facilities for value of money is better. I don't want my son waking up my son wakes up 6 a.m. sometimes 6:30, and he's even the most punctual in class because by 7 he's in school. His school is 5 minutes from the house. You can hardly have that in Lagos. So the money is there. I want to make the money, and then because of the industry where I operate, but I prefer to go and then come back. Now, the question was about mom guilt. Is always there. Earlier this year, I was in Ghana for, my company was planning a retreat for a company, and you know, we were very excited. It was such a good thing. And before you knew what was happening, I broke down crying. And the issue was, I'm like, it's not meant to be this hard. Because from there, so because we're in the hospitality industry, festive periods are our own peak periods, so we don't have holidays. So I've been working since before Christmas into New Year. This is January, maybe the 5th. I'm out of the country, and once I come back, I'm going to set. So I was thinking of all that I have to do and all that I was going through at the time. I am tired, yet I can't take a break. So I started crying, and luckily my sister was with me. And she was like, it's not this hard. Like, you're a good mom. Because I was saying, I'm not even sure. See, my son, I had to put him, because when I was leaving for the trip, it was another early morning. So I dropped him up at our family friends. And it was like, maybe 6 a.m. in the morning. He was in school uniform, and, you know, I was waving to him that I'll see you soon, darling. And I felt bad. Every time I remember that image on the trip, I feel like, I just left this boy. So I think the mom's guilt would always be there. And like you rightly put it, if people are not judging you, you're judging yourself.
Sure.
So one thing I ask from people is to at least be a bit more understanding of women who work. Because before you look down at us, we're already thinking in our mind. We've judged ourselves. But one thing I've also realized is I had to come to a decision of, do you want to do this or not? I grew up in a house with 5 people. When I was growing up in the prime of our youth, or of our childhood rather, we had 10 people in the house. Right now, it's just my dad and my mom.
So true.
So I tell people that at the end of the day,
the children will
go.
What will be
and
left?
You know why we have terrible mother-in-laws? I'm always breaking it down. Permit me to talk about it. It's because that woman has spent 20-something years of her life nursing that child. The time she should have made friends, the time she should have invested.
Built a career.
And you know, in the Yoruba culture, they tell us, Oma Sojo, like, all this investment, the child will grow up and repay you. So the woman raises the child, hoping that one day the child will come back and repay her for her sacrifices, which is not true. Because if you want to be a good mother-in-law to your daughter or son-in-law, you have to give your children that space.
Absolutely.
I happen to be married to a man who is an only son to his mom. And people ask me, and my mother-in-law is a very strong and powerful woman. So people ask me, how do you cope with her? I'm like, she doesn't even see me. The woman is so busy with her life. So I tell women that we need to live our life in the now. There are sacrifices that we must make, but there are things that we shouldn't compromise.
So true.
And my career is not one of the things I want to compromise. So what I'm trying to do is find the balance so that at the end of the day, he grows up, he can live his life, and then I have built something for myself that I can also live with. So I don't feel like, oh, I've sacrificed and, you know, this son has to pay back to me.
Yeah, so true. I mean, also I was going to talk about how she mentioned a key thing, because a lot of times young girls grow up having these big ambitions, you know, but then there's always and usually it's women who, you know, try to put her down a peg or two. When you have children, don't worry. All this, I want to be governor, I want to be president, I want to be, you know. So what is that doing to the psyche of women, of girls? When we say, oh, don't worry, motherhood will humble you. I heard that a few times. Thankfully, I mean, I was what we call a late mother. You know, so I was able to do quite a few things before I had my child or anything. But what does that do to the psyche of young girls when we try and humble them using motherhood?
Well, I am sure that everybody on this table is not doing that. And that is why I always say that we are the ones with the responsibility to change the narrative. Because we end up raising frustrated women because their fulfillment is directly from the approval of a man all from the attention of the children. And so they keep walking that cycle, and no one single person can be the source of your happiness. You have to be able to create joy for yourself. And what better way is there than making impact? You know, doing something that you know is making a difference in the lives of other people.
But are they just trying to be realistic? Because the honest truth is, motherhood does slow you down. So some of them are just trying to be, do they have good, I know some people don't have good intentions. You just want, who do you meet? I wanted to be president and I didn't because I have 5 kids and, you know, my husband told me not to work. Then you now think you want to. I know a lot of people do it out of bad work, but some of them do it from good intention because, my dear, who's going to tell her? Exactly. Who's going to tell her? So,
well, I think that was told to your generation. If you tell a Gen Z body, you'll say, "Mommy, marriage is even overrated." You think I have time for that? So let us. These days, I was telling my daughter, "Say, mommy, please, marriage is overrated." And then why you say I want to have my money first? I want to do this before I will marry, if at all. And then she go further and say, I even want to do surrogacy. I'm like, where are you coming from? That's her life. Say, mommy, surrogacy, I'm not going to carry any baby. That the pain is too much. I said, who told you? Have you been there? Although the light was just going to the labor and come out.
But you had how many children after the exactly. All of you, exactly.
So their mindset now is different from. So you can't use that one to like marriage, motherhood will humble you. They'll be like, where is this one coming from? So our generation
So the generation that indeed said motherhood will humble you, we're not wrong to have said it, because back then
it does
truly
motherhood does humble you. Motherhood does humble. I mean, I saw a woman on TikTok yesterday, even from pregnancy, motherhood starts to humble a lot of people. Even though, I mean, I think I was a fine pregnant woman. But not very many people can say that. From pregnancy, motherhood starts to humble women. This woman, oh my gosh, she was gorgeous pre-pregnancy. I wish you could get that video, but oh my goodness. Even she now became a TikTok sensation. She started saying, come and wash me. Like, her nose was like this huge. She was as black as my laptop. So she started using it to make money on TikTok that, you know what, because people were making fun of her, calling her all sorts of names. So even from pregnancy, my motherhood starts to humble you from pregnancy to even with the delivery, the labor, and then, you know, you having all these high ambitions and realizing, where am I going to put my kid? You know, especially if you have a husband who says, I don't want a nanny, I don't want you to have help, and all of that. So marriage, the reality is that marriage does humble us. Yes.
But you see, we can't allow anybody, male or female, to let go of their dreams because of what will happen. Because your dream might just be everybody's ticket to a better life. If your dreams are big enough, they won't serve just you. They will serve the whole community. Now, what would happen if we have people who are not motivated, not dreaming? We would have utter chaos, you know? So no matter what happens, your dream is the platform. That is actually what gives you a reason to wake up every day. What you want to achieve with your life is what helps you face challenges, surmount them, and move from point to point. So no matter what is going to happen, you know, as far as marriage or motherhood is concerned, we should prepare with our dreams. Now, the good thing about marriage humbling you is if you know what you want before you set out. It's a part of your consideration of who you will marry, where you will marry, when you will marry. You know, you will find someone like yourself. It is not possible that she, for example, or yourself or her, well, she took a break to raise the kids, but we did not give up. You probably give yourself a break of a few hours, or a few months, or a few years, you know, but you keep nursing that thing you want to do. And of course, naturally, he helps your choice of husband. The minute you are talking and you realize that this person is going to like put me in the golden cage, she says that, put me in the golden cage. You already know that, okay, this person and I can't have a long-term relationship because I'm obviously going somewhere. I was sharing yesterday how my husband's dreams for me are a little bit bigger,
Madam President.
a little bit bigger than me, but that is, it informs the choice of a spouse. It informs the choice of your friends. So if you have friends that are putting you down, telling you that your dreams, then you don't have the right company yet. You have to keep searching. You know, I always say, pick your friends like beans. You know, you remove the stones carefully. You know, keep people like yourself. Shake your friendship tree. Let the rotten fruits fall off. You know, and then you have your kind of people that would encourage you. Now, a lot of people can tell you can't do it now. But they'll keep asking you, I hope you have not forgotten you want to.
When are you doing it? When is it going to start?
I just want to say something. What she said just struck a chord, that when she was leaving and she said, goodbye to the child, and she was feeling somehow. I was not in that position because all through until they were going to boarding school, and then I started my law career. Just let's imagine mothers that left their children in Nigeria and they went to Saudi. Some of them, the children were sleeping with one another. That means, you know, I didn't used to look at it over there. The siblings were having, yes,
wow, my goodness.
in this Ibadan. That means over there in Saudi, even though they were looking, they were sending the money. There's this guilt that they will be carrying. Because I didn't used to look at it that way, like, okay, their own is, okay, let me go and look for more money. So that these children can go to one of the best schools, like Fort, ISI. But you find out that, so as we build our dreams, let us still try. And she decided that she will not stay in Lagos. Because she could have said, Lagos is where the thing is. So even if the air is not good.
No, but you're a good example, Toji, because the early, and for any woman out there who thinks, it's all over, you took how many years, and you started your law career in your 30s?
In my 40s.
In your 40s.
I think that's very important, because I also did the same, even though I didn't pause 100%. For the first 3 to 5 years, I wasn't as active as I am now, because I remember that my brother would keep saying, those are the formative years. Those are the years when you instill the disciplines, the core values that you now build on. So I think it is important for women to also understand that from time to time we will need to pause.
For face me I slap you, can you pause?
Good question. Good question. Not everybody has the privilege
to pause.
of pausing, but you have to pause. Everybody's pauses can look different, I think.
And then pauses, so
it's relative.
I was still doing my catering, because that's you show up 1 day or 2 days, you do what you need to do, you leave. So I can be back home for 5 days. And as at that state, I was even going around with my baby, because I'm my own boss. So I'll go with him. My sister is there to help me out. So I think we can define what pausing is
as you pursue the dream.
Because at the end of the day, because I mean, I remember when my oldest daughter, she, now can pick up for me from school, my youngest daughter. So there was times she was like, Mommy, you're so lucky, I pick up for you. And I'm like, no, I actually like the drive that we have, that I get with my youngest, because she gets to talk to me. So trust me, there's no mom who is happy that, somebody else is taking care of their child. So we just do whatever we got to do, because, okay, you know what, I have to be at work. At least you're happy that you have someone who you trust. Because some people don't even have that. A lot of people they've left to care for their children ended up abusing them, raping their daughters, raping their sons, nannies, sleeping with, 5-year-old boys, So I'm happy that it's my oldest daughter who I trust, but I had to correct that notion that you're lucky that, you have a daughter.
I want it. I just can't have it.
I just can't.
That's why when some wicked men, when the marriages, there's a crack, they want to seize the children. It's not that they can take care of the children. They just want to
hurt the woman.
Badly. And imagine the state they will be in. From the picture she painted, like, my children are somewhere. The person, another wife is taking care of them. You don't know what's up, and you are powerless. Thank God for laws are changing, policies are changing. Women can now approach the law court and then get their children back. There's a matter I'm doing now. Whatever happened, 4 children, 1 is not for the man. She said it was a mistake. The choir master came and they are family friends. She was angry. The man has beaten her and left. So the guy started partying her. One thing led to another. She became pregnant. She didn't know. So something else, the guy had been duplicating the issue in the church. So when they found that, now they were like, because you did this, you must not see your children, you must not do this. She didn't have a lawyer. She said she was scared to tell her story, that she was ashamed. So somebody now called me and said, please help this woman. I said, I'm not doing pro bono again. She now came to me. She now said, the person that directed me to you, she didn't tell you the real story. This is what happened. I know that I did wrong and everything. They drove me from even up to our workplace. They said, the church said they should. I said, then they craze. Who never seen before? Me, I carried the first stone. I got to court. I'm like, okay, we are now in the matter. That's your agreement will not work. The lawyer said, has she told you what she did? I said, before uncle. Now she first started. Who not be seen? You never seen. So imagine, for these 3 years that she has been out, the man does not want her to see her children. So now the man now called. She called me and said, why don't you just let us settle this thing? Say, no, you went to court. She said she has backbone. That kind of thing. So that's what he was trying to say. You can only see the children in school with my permission during open day or something. I said,
Right. And it's odd because a man can hold a woman ransom using her children.
Yes.
And I know women do it too, but I think it's more, I don't know why it's more painful for women. If you, there's some men who will go and say, don't worry, when the child grows up,
No, some women stay in marriage because of the fear that they know the man will take the children from. They don't have the might to fight back.
Let's talk about this.
Abuse
Yes, because of their
the
children. Absolutely. Let's talk about this whole, because you employ people. And I know there's the elephant in the room in when we take organizations, should be, what's it called, to women who are having babies. But I've seen women, as someone who employs people, you're also looking at the bottom line. So how do you, sort of go through having someone who's just had a baby is going to affect your bottom line, it's going to affect the work. And I know we want to be let's empower women, let's help women, but I know how it is as a new mom as well. If your child is running temperature, you're not thinking about your boss's work. But then on the other hand, your boss is thinking about, you're always taking time off. Yes. So how do we encourage organizations to sort of help women who are new moms, able to get work, but still look at the bottom line?
So I would say that women need to first of all help organizations. Yes, because I say it all the time, and not for mothers, but for women. When we say we want a seat at the table, and we say this, I am the table. And I ask people that when we ask our male counterparts to give us the same level of respect that they give to men, when we open our mouths, do we really have content? I've sat in rooms where, people working and you expect a certain level of intelligence. But when it comes to delivery at work, we're not doing that. I happen to run or operate in an industry where it's very male, it's not male dominated, but I have, look at our cameramen, they are male. So when I'm on set, if I have a crew of 60 people, 40 are male. And I must get people going. But they listen to me because also I'm not lazy with the work. I don't use motherhood or feminism as an excuse. So I have had situations where I've given people an opportunity because I was being biased as to they are women. And then you come in and every single time it is, I'm going home, my husband needs this. I am very family oriented. If you know me, I have done 5 days on the road for a 7-day in a week because I kept coming back home, that if it is only a night to be home, I am that person that would do that. But what I'm saying is when we get to the table, can women also begin to be diligent in the things that they need to do? So when I gave birth, I remember when my son was going for immunization, somebody maybe doing a master's or PhD came to run like a survey. And that time I was still working, I was in paid employment. And it was written in the survey that, how long was your maternity leave? And I said, mine was 6 months. And the lady was shocked. She had to come meet me that, what organization would give you 6 months maternity leave? But what's my track record before I needed maternity
Thank
leave?
you.
What was I doing when I was on maternity leave?
So true.
There were days I would show up and my organ would be like, no. My maternity leave was even peculiar actually. So I was having issues and then I needed to rest. But I had become so valuable to the organization that they know that I would do the work. And even as I was home, I would call each day to say, how is it going? How are things? If there are issues, I will come in to resolve them.
So true.
So what is our track record before the
we
time
to
we
ask
need
for favors?
to?
So true.
Even when we are working and we need to take days off, if you are known for being hardworking, for delivering on, it's not, it's 5 p.m. and I'm carrying my bag and you're going.
They won't tell me
you
you're
are
pregnant.
so much of an asset that the organization will be willing to do whatever it takes. See what she said earlier, that our HOD
didn't want her to go,
because she knew the value that she brought in. So if we as moms, we need to understand that we need to be diligent, we need to be on our toes, our head, deposit ahead of when we need to withdraw. So by the time we've been seen as an asset, it becomes easy
to withdraw. And that's my testimony as well. I worked in a radio station. And you know how radio is. Your voice needs to be out there. If they can do without you for 1 month, you are gone. So I was working on radio. Obviously, I was very diligent. So when I got pregnant, I was actually the first. They had to change policies for my sake. Because normally on radio, even if you go on maternity, they won't pay you. If they pay you after like 2 months and they realize they found someone better who's handling your show, you will go. That's how it is in the media.
Wow.
But I was the first person to get 6 months. I said I'm going for 6 months. If I was thinking, would they, because there were people who were standing in my place, but they were waiting for me. They paid me in full, and kudos to that radio station. You know yourself, they're still my people. But 6 months I was home because I really wanted to focus on my child, and they gave me 6 months off in the media. That is rare. But because I'd worked very well before that, worked very hard, and I'd become very valuable, and that's such a key thing to women. So before you start coming to withdraw, it's important to make those deposits. And I know that our agree or disagree segment will allow us to explore. Because we had such a rich conversation.
Let's also appreciate Sheyi Makinde. Kudos to him. There's a new policy now for 6 months. Yeah,
fantastic.
I think, yes. Yeah. So I think establishment, different organization can take a cue from there. But like you said, you have to be hardworking.
Absolutely. Well, today is a reminder that the journey from me to mom doesn't have to mean the end of our dreams, but it does mean we have to, redefine the map. Up next, we'll share our life hack of the day, something practical you can use to find your rhythm in this wild balance of work and motherhood. Then when we return, it'll be time where we're going to be turning up the hit with our agree or disagree segment, so stick around. Welcome back. That was a very, very important life hack, because that happens often. I'm going to try that one of these days. But welcome back to the big conversation. It's time for our feisty agree or disagree segment. We're going to pop a question on the screen. If you're in the comment section, I need you to also write agree or no sit it on the fence, because you're going to, like Osare says, how does Osare say? You're going to defend your answer. All right, so here's our question of the day, and it is: a woman who truly wants a successful career shouldn't have kids early. A woman who truly wants a successful career shouldn't have kids early. Toju, do you agree or disagree? Flash your card. Flash your card first. You agree? Shouldn't have kids early. A woman who truly wants a successful career shouldn't have kids early.
I disagree.
Okay, let's show on to. Okay, so you disagree. Okay, let's go with Kemi. You also disagree. How do you? Okay.
Strongly.
I think all of us will most definitely disagree.
You know what? I'm torn.
No,
I'm actually torn.
Because it worked for you.
I'm actually torn. Yeah, I'm actually torn. So let me hear what you think. Why do you disagree?
So I think, first of all, this question is peculiar to individuals. It depends on what you want out of life, right? But I disagree because, to an extent, you can say I had my children early, or my child early, rather. Yeah. I think I gave birth when I was 27.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. And I navigated it. It was possible. Luckily, also, I had my younger siblings who could help me out. I think it's also good to do what you want to do.
Quickly get
it along with. Because you, like we have said, you need to slow down. Maybe not pause, but slow down in the early years of their life. So I think it's peculiar because if you are at a point where you are growing rapidly, then you can decide to say, oh, let me delay. But if you're at a point where you think you can handle it, why not?
You know why I'm torn? Because I've seen people do it early and just trying to get back on the horse. Hey, I'm 50, they are 50 like this, and they're still trying to get back on the horse.
Difficult.
And I know people who did it later, and it's like they were on a roll, and they were like, oh, career going, and then they just gave birth at 38. And it was like, you know, everybody starts to judge you at work, and because you are taking all those excuses, I need to go for vaccination, and then they've just been due for promotion, and then they've just never been able to. So I think it's about knowing what, because I know a lot of younger, I talk to a lot of 23-year-old, 25-year-olds, and they still don't know what they want to do. And for me, I feel like if you don't know what you want to do, having babies is not a great idea.
Yeah.
It's not, if you don't know what you want to be yet and do yet with your life, because they're not putting out, let me just get married and have children.
I very much agree.
Then I'll figure it out.
Yes.
You will be stuck in that rut for the next 20, 25 years. Why do you disagree?
So what I was going to say lines up totally with what you just said, and that is this statement in itself is going to put us under pressure unnecessarily. What does success mean to you?
Yeah, it's relative.
Exactly. What does success mean to you? We don't even have the same goals in life.
Yeah.
My goal might be a 2-year goal, something I can do in 2 years. What difference then does it make if I have kids early or late? You know, so what does success mean to you? You are put under pressure by somebody else's estimation of success. I have friends who felt family was what success meant to them. So raising a family early is what they want to do. I have friends who think, well, let me push the career. Maybe because you've set a goal for yourself that you want to be a senior advocate before 40. You know, so for you, pursuing the career is what defines success for you. But you cannot, not even the big conversation can define success for you. What success means to you is what determines what you pursue. So career, family, I believe that stay-at-home moms whose entire life is built around the family as successful in that career as they want to be.
I agree.
I don't know if someone's success can be, because like you've talked about how these children will go. So I found a lot of women who think, oh, my calling in life is to raise my children, and then the children go and it's like,
okay, so let me say something, because I have a friend that she just described. I think also if we are I don't like to sound very spiritual, but you know, God deposited different things in different people. I say it all the time. If you're raising, you could be raising the next Obama. There are certain things, or the next Ben Carson, there are certain needs that child has, that you are the person who can give it to that child. So while I understand, some people are nurturers. So while I understand what you're saying as to, you know, the child will eventually go, but when the child goes and you're seeing people appreciate the level of investment you have given into that child, that could be satisfaction for that person. So I think it is very peculiar. The only thing I want to add to what you had said is that we now have a lot of babies raising babies. So when you said a 25-year-old who has not figured out their life, you are so right. Because at 20, I knew what I wanted. I've always, if you ask people who have known me from when, I'm the kind of person that I know what I want and I know when I want it. So the only thing I'm working towards is how I'm going to get it. So if you are not at that place, if you are still confused, if you are switching careers or you're trying to migrate or something, that is not a good time to now say, let me just get married and now figure it out. Because we need to have less of babies raising babies.
Thank you. A marriage is not the, is it anecdotal? Marriage is not the solution to your hopelessness or to your lack of vision, to your confusion. Marriage is definitely not. Okay,
sorry, I want to add something to this when the children leave.
Yes.
If you are intentional about being a homemaker and you have invested yourself in being a homemaker, you will discover purpose.
True.
And in discovering purpose, it might be your organizational skills. It might be the making of your home that makes you an interior decorator when they leave. You know, you have found something that tickles you better than everything else you're doing when the children leave.
You can even be consulting for other moms.
Exactly.
And it's not limited to a certain age. You can discover purpose at 40, and that's the honest truth. I've discovered certain things in my 40s. True.
70s.
Absolutely. Okay, so do you want to quickly say something?
Yeah, I want to align with all your positions. Success in that wise is relative, because like you said, you can raise children and you're happy, and then with the advent of COVID and you can work remotely and everything, how do you measure success? There are people sitting at home, mothers at home, they are making millions and they are breastfeeding their baby, they are working. So
and I wanted to just, I know our time is gone, but do you feel moms feel more guilt because dads, we don't hold men more accountable to being more presence? Because mom is the one feeling the whole guilt. Men can up and go to Abuja for like another 2 weeks, and I don't know if they really feel that, oh, I miss my kid. Is my kid, you know, doing fine without me? But moms, so do you think we need to hold men, you know?
Not all moms.
Okay, not all moms feel the guilt. You don't feel guilt. You can just stand up and go for one month.
And there are some men that feel guilt.
So that's what I was going to say, that like for my husband now, he's very vested in our son. Yes, if he's present at home. I remember one day a clip was playing on TV, and then they said men don't cook, and my son was like, "That's not true.
Daddy does.
We cook." So for situations, but I agree that we should, society as a whole should hold men more responsible. So the men who work with me, if I know you have a child, or I know your wife, you know, is pregnant, I will always ask, oh, how are you doing? Oh, how is... So I had one of my staff who his wife gave birth, and then the next day he was at work. So when I found that, I was like, what are you doing here? Jokingly, of course, I needed him to be at work. I was like, why would you be here? Your hand is supposed to be inside water, like Yoruba people say. So at least just to give them that consciousness.
Yes, it's so true.
Like me personally, if I used to say when my marriage was like maybe 10, 15, now we are 27. If anything had happened, my children will not go with me.
Wow, they'll go with dad.
Yes.
Fantastic.
We need that involved.
Because sometimes your child's like, mommy, I'm like, I'm not the only parent here. Can you call dad to come and clean your butt? You know, so we definitely need more of that, you know. But wise words on the web, on the screen. Toji, can you read it to us?
Successful mothers are not the ones that have never struggled. They are the ones that never give up.
Yes,
Sharon,
thank you. Absolutely.
James.
Sharon James. Yes. All right. So even if you haven't found purpose, perhaps you had kids earlier, it's never too late to find purpose. That's one thing I'm going to leave you with. And then just like I said, let's hold men more. Sometimes I'm in meetings with all men, and I'm the only one that Nanny is calling. I'm the only one thinking, where am I going to? And I'm like, guys, don't you have children? Who's picking up your children? Who's, you know, but men are definitely a lot more blessed in that regard. Well, that's it for today's big conversation. If there's anything we've learned today, it's this: motherhood will change you, but it doesn't have to cancel you. Your dreams still matter, your career still matters, and you're allowed to evolve, pause, pivot, or power forward on your own terms. A huge thank you to our fantastic, gorgeous guest, Oluwakemi Imioye, and of course our panel, Jumoke and Toju, and to you watching at home. Don't stop the conversation here. Get in the comment section and let us know how you've navigated motherhood and ambition. And don't forget to share this video too. Until next time, keep growing. Keep the big conversation.